Hello and welcome to TOD Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at the Grotmas Calendar, Day 4 on Day 5, but it wouldn't be an Advent Calendar if you didn't miss a door every now and then, okay? This is how Advent Calendars go in my world. But we're here with a light dusting of... No, that's not snow. In today's Grotmas Calendar, the Thousand Suns try to influence the battlefield in the Hexwarp Thrallband. So I just have this inbuilt dislike of the Thousand Suns, probably because all of the people that I know who play Thousand Suns, the first thing they do is say don't ever paint them, they're an absolute ball ache. But I think with this shot they've missed a trick, because wouldn't it be cool if they were recreating one of the scenes from Space Marine 2 and it was against the Titus model and a couple of other Space Marines? That would have been cool, but you've got a mix of your Marines, you got a nice Rhino in there, little beast, the dragon thing, the demon dragon, and then some Zangors up the top. Everybody loves Zangors, right? How can you not love those little goat men? Anyway, the Empric ritualists who lead the Thrall bands wield magic without restraint. They seek to shatter the veil between reality and the warp, empowering their arcane arts and unleashing demonic energies upon their weak-minded foes. Directing mindless Rubicae to seize sites of power, these sorcerers tap into the wellspring of potential, weaving obscuring rituals and killing spells. As the tide of arcane energy builds in strength, the battlefield becomes alive with mutagenic energy, enhancing the sorcerer's magical power, haloing their thralls in coronae of uncontrolled arcane force. With warp flame and hellfire they sweep the enemy from the field of battle, and Tzeentch claims the souls of the dead. When Thousand Suns models in the army make psychic attacks, they can reroll wound rolls of 1. Oof. If they are within a part of the battlefield that they control, they swell with the warp and instead add 1 to the wound roll of their psychic attacks as the battlefield is saturated within the warp. With the Arcane Might enhancement, characters can draw upon the rampant warp energies and add 1 to strength characteristics of psychic weapons equipped by the bearer's unit. Okay, nice. While the bearer's unit is wholly within the army's flow of magic, add 2 to the strength characteristics of psychic weapons equipped by models in that unit instead. With the arcane energies flooding the battlefield, the veil between warp and reality rapidly collapses. From yawning rifts, rubric marines can arrive from strategic reserves as if they had the deep strike rule, and Scarab occult terminators can take advantage of the disruption and deploy from deep strike just over 6 inches from enemies if they are deployed wholly within the army's flow of magic by using the through the veil stratagem. That all sounds strong, but then they always sound strong in the article until we read the detachment rules. But that sounds fun and annoying. And tomorrow, which in reality means later today, now that the entertainment is sorted for Grotmas, what about the lights? The Adeptus Mechanicus are seeing to the electrics tomorrow. But today. Okay, so what have we got for the Hexwarp Thrallband? The detachment rule, Flow of Magic. Certain areas of the battlefield are within your army's flow of magic as follows. Your deployment zone is always within your army's flow of magic. At the start of any phase, if you control at least half of the objective markers within No Man's Land, until the end of that phase, No Man's Land is within your army's flow of magic. And at the start of any phase, if you control at least half of the objective markers within your opponent's deployment zone, until the end of that phase, your opponent's deployment zone is within your army's flow of magic. Each time a Thousand Suns model from your army makes a psychic attack, reroll the wound roll of 1. If such a model is wholly within your army's flow of magic, each time it makes a psychic attack, add 1 to the wound roll. So you're rerolling 1s, and if you're within the flow of magic, which is all about holding objectives, you can add 1 to the wound roll. They're both quite nice. Right off the bat, they seem very nice, and they actually seem very thematic for Thousand Suns, who are spreading their warp energies, like Nurgle. Nurgle was very much about spreading the plague, whereas this is about them drawing on the energies of the area and empowering themselves, which fits. I like it. I like how they're doing some of these detachments. Enhancements, Arcane Might for 20 points, Thousand Suns model only. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of psychic weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit. While the bearer's unit is wholly within your army's flow of magic, add 2 to the strength characteristic of psychic weapons equipped by the models in that unit instead. And that's just strong, +1 strength to, I think psychic weapons have decent strength anyway, don't they? I suppose it depends what they class as psychic weapons. Are spells psychic weapons? Because I know that spells became shooting attacks. So that could actually be very strong. Empowered Manifestations for 20 points, Thousand Suns model only. While the bearer's unit is wholly within your army's flow of magic, add 6 inches to the range of psychic abilities the bearer has that specify a range, including rituals. And each time a model in the bearer's unit takes a hazardous test for a psychic weapon, so it must be spells and spell psychic attacks are psychic weapons, you can reroll the result. Wow. So actually Arcane Might is very nice. An Empowered Manifestation is probably better, as you can go all out on your hazard tests and you just have a reroll. Etheric Onslaught is 25 points, Thousand Suns model only again, and while the bearer's unit is wholly within your army's flow of magic, add 3 to the attack characteristics of ranged psychic weapons equipped by the bearer. That's more about just making a character a bit more of a beatstick, but +3 attacks is nice. And the Noctilith Mantle, Thousand Suns model only, while the bearer's unit is on the battlefield, it is wholly within your army's flow of magic. Models in that unit cannot be selected to use any ritual. At 15 points, it's not the most expensive, and there is some use cases there I think as well. You would always be within your flow of magic range regardless of where you are on the battlefield. So you would get +1 to wound, and you can add 1 to the wound as well. But if your unit is just going to be within the flow of magic area anyway, it's pointless. Over to the stratagems. All of these are 1 CP. We have 2 Epic Deed, 1 Battle Tactic down the bottom there in red, and 3 Strategic. I don't know if that makes a huge amount of difference these days, but sometimes it's good to know. And Warding Hex. When command phase, target 1000 Suns Psyker unit from your army within range of an objective marker you control if that objective marker is wholly within your army's flow of magic. Effect: the objective marker remains under your control until your opponent's level of control over that objective marker is greater than yours at the end of a phase. So that's just 1 CP sticky objectives. Do that on your home objective and then wander off. Yeah, I mean, nice. It's a nice to have. Wrath of the Doomed. When fight phase just after an enemy has selected its targets, target 1000 Suns unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. In effect, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if that model has not fought this phase, roll a d6, adding 1 to the result if your unit is wholly within your army's flow of magic. On a 4-up, do not remove the model from play. That destroyed model can fight after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks, then it is removed from play. For a unit that you know is going to get battered in melee, pop a 1 CP stratagem and they can fight again on a 4-up, or fight on death, sorry, on a 4-up. It's always nice. Again, it's situational, but it's always nice to have. Strands of Time. When your movement phase just after 1000 Suns Psyker unit from your army falls back, and the target is that 1000 Suns Psyker unit. Effect: until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot or declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. If your unit is wholly within your army's flow of magic when it is targeted with this stratagem, then until the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. So actually, that's just a nice to have, but we're starting to see already there's quite a few, in fact all of them, ignoring the first one. So Wrath of the Doomed, so you could add 1, so that would be a 3-up. And Strands of Time, you could fall back, shoot and charge if you have a unit that has the Noctilith Mantle. So for 15 points plus a stratagem where you need it, you can actually have a really chunky unit that is just always going to be able to attack and can fight on death on a 3-up. So there's some really nice play coming in with some of this stuff. Again, it's situational, but I like that kind of list building and tailoring that you can do with some of these detachments, but not all of them. So I'm liking this so far, actually. Through the Veil, when start of the reinforcement step of your movement phase, target one Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminators unit from your army that is in strategic reserves. And the effect, if it is a Rubric Marines unit at the end of the phase, it has the Deep Strike ability. When your unit is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability. If it is a Scarab Occult Terminator unit, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is wholly within your army's flow of magic and more than 6 inches away from all enemy models. Restrictions. If a Scarab Occult Terminators unit is targeted with a stratagem, it is not eligible to declare a charge in the same turn. So I read that as it's a 6-inch deep strike for Scarab Occult Terminators when you need to drop them in, but you have to drop them in within the flow of magic. So you either get cheeky and you've taken the opponent's deployment zone, or if you control no man's land, which is doable if you've got the numbers on there, or your enemy for some reason the opponent is holding back. It's good, but it is the whole restriction there of wholly within your army's flow of magic. That counters some of the strength of a 6-inch deep strike. And I would actually argue, and in fact it clearly states, so the Noctilith Mantle, you can't put a unit of Scarab Occult Terminators, chuck the Noctilith Mantle on, then they can deep strike anywhere, because it specifically states while the bearer's unit is on the battlefield. Through deep strike, they're not actually on the battlefield yet. So I think that's how that would play. So very nice, bit more situational, but dropping Terminators in on a 6-inch deep strike is not a bad idea if you can do it. Scouring Warp Flame in your shooting phase. Target 1000 Sun Psyker unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase and is wholly within your army's flow of magic. Effect until the end of the phase. Ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit have the Ignores Cover ability. After your unit has shot this phase, select one enemy unit hit by one or more attacks. Till the end of the phase, models in that unit cannot have the benefit of cover. Didn't we see this with the Tyranids? Basically word for word the same. So that would be good. I mean, again, Noctilith Mantle, you can just pop that off and go straight at them. So that's nice if you need cover removed. It's more situational than anything else. I mean, Ignores Cover is... So that's only really nice because it ignores the benefits of cover for everybody else shooting at it. That's definitely one of the more situational ones. It's probably a nice to have, but I'm sure we've seen that on a previous detachment somewhere. And Kaleidoscopic Tempest, when your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy has selected its targets, target 1000 Sun Psyker unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks, and the effect, until the end of the phase, your unit has the stealth ability, and if your unit is wholly within your army's flow of magic, each time an attack targets your unit, it has the benefit of cover against that attack. So that gives you stealth and benefit of cover for that shooting phase, for that one unit. Again, situational, but quite nice. For 1 CP, anywhere on the battlefield, you can give that unit stealth. And if you're wholly within, if that unit is wholly within your flow of magic, it also gains the benefit of cover. I like that. These three on the left, these three stratagems, for me, in my head, are definitely the best, especially when coupled with a Noctilith Mantle. But I would be, like, I don't list build for winning, I list build for fun. So my Noctilith Mantle would go on a unit that is going to be on the battlefield all the time, is quite a strong unit, probably quite a, powerful character, surrounded by a decent bodyguard unit, and I would make them the focus, and I would get aggressive with them because I can fall back and shoot whenever I want. I can fight on death on a 3-up whenever I want. Well, when a model in that unit dies. And I can just give them stealthy and the benefits of cover whenever I want. You actually have a good amount of play at keeping a unit with the Noctilith Mantle alive, just solely looking at the Noctilith Mantle. There's other nice stuff in here as well. And looking at the flow of magic rule, it should be quite easy to keep. I say it should be quite easy to keep. I mean, if you can hold the middle board, you've got 2/3 of the battlefield under your flow of magic, which gives you a lot of play. Or if you can sneak in and take your opponent's deployment zone, you've got 2/3, but you've hemmed them in the middle, and you can just deep strike Terminators within 6 inches. Definitely better than the Dark Angels, but that wouldn't be hard. I don't think it's as good as the Tyranids, but I think this is very good. I don't know how Thousand Sons play normally. I've never looked at their rules, I'll be honest. But I like this. I like how it sounds, and I like how I'm sort of working stuff out in my head. I think there's some play in this. And I really just like the, you know, our magic is better than yours, we're just going to take over the board, and we have a unit who are just going to do whatever they want because they're manipulating time and space. Yeah, I like this. This is pretty good. This is the kind of detachment I was hoping for. Not necessarily game breaking, but lots of shenanigans, lots of fun things to do, but also is playable. Yeah, I quite like this. This is very good. I wonder what the AdMech are going to get, because they're in a very rough spot right now. We'll take a look at that later on. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.